Some time ago, about 5 years ago, I had thought that it's about time to, in fact, introduce oral history as a discipline, or at least as a course at the University of Saskatchewan. Knowing to what degree 20th Street is of importance to so many people in Saskatoon, somehow naturally the idea came. Why not to focus on the 20th Street? Why not to try to create a collection of life stories, a collection of reflections, reminiscences, testimonies to that neighborhood?
She was on Avenue H, I think?
Avenue H and 19th Street.
Yeah.
So with the 20th Street project, which we now are calling 2020 project, we thought we will try to capture the memory, the culture, the sort of the lingering of one particular tradition, or maybe the lingering of so many traditions which have amalgamated into what 20th Street has become. We've tried to capture it through interviews with people who have been intimately connected to this community.
Hi there, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Good to finally meet you, the face behind the voice.
The woman I talked to was Heather. She kind of had a lot to say about what it was like throughout the last 30 years and like the change. She had a lot to say about it.
Just down where they're building this building down here?
Yeah.
That used to be the old Harder house. They're relatives of ours.
Oh.
They're long gone now, but her grandmother, the Baba, used to live there too.
She was just such a good talker, such a good interviewer, and like very like charismatic with what she had to say. Tell me about like your first impression of it and what it was like when you first
Quiet.
went there. Yeah.
And nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. There was a Baba, Mrs. Sherland. She was from a concentration camp.
Really?
Yes. And she was very, very wonderful to talk to. And even the house next door was another Baba.
Wow.
Both of them were in the same concentration camp. Where the big green and white house is, that was another Baba's house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was just a real wild street for a while. There were all the old grannies.
Having a variety of narratives, a variety of stories recorded on audio files or also recorded on video files will preserve and present the dynamics, the vibrancy, the diversity in experiences, in cultures, in historical developments, which has all affected the 20th Street the way we know it.
Straight back to the sender with a heavy in the need us don't chat and any to step up for any native that sing streams of dreams for the...
My name is Douglas Michelle, aka DJ Wheezy, and this is...
And I'm Jared Mentuck, aka Fresh Fallen Snow.
Me and my brother kind of just like stay from arm's length of the negativity, you know what I mean? Because the streets, like, this shit will eat you up and spit you out, you know what I mean? And I'm not really trying to deal with that stuff, you know? We have to maintain a professionality in order to survive in this area, you know what I mean? Like, I can't put sugar on this bannock, you know what I mean? I have to give it to you the way it is, you know what I mean? Like, it's very rough out here, you know? There could be somebody down the street plotting on us that we have beef with from past conflictions when we used to be, we used to kind of be like gang members and stuff like that, but not really. We were just in the gang mentality because we were young and stupid, affiliated.
Those who have lived in the community for a long time would have one understanding and one memory of it. Those who, like myself, I don't live in a community, would come and shop or have their own understandings of what the 20th Street is, what its sense and flavor of it as a community, as a place, as a space, as urban space would be like.
A friend of mine, her name is Jiling Lee, and she's an architect from Toronto who's living in Saskatoon. She commented to me that she thought 20th Street West reminded her of Queen Street West in Toronto, but from a time 10 years earlier. And that one experience completely changed my perception about the neighborhood and has led me to see the opportunities for the kind of development that is appropriate in this neighborhood now. What we kind of see happening in this neighborhood now is that it's a younger generation of people that are starting to embrace this neighborhood and starting to populate it by buying homes, again, going back to the origins of the neighborhood, because they're more affordable than living in Newtana or other areas. and people can achieve home ownership here. But with them, they're bringing new ideas, and I'm one of those. I started by buying an old grocery store and converting it into my home, and then ended up finding a place to set up my business here that worked with the lifestyle I was working on.
We've also begun to see a very rapid transformation of what it was before. We've noticed development comes in the neighborhood. We've recognized it being a very driving force which brings in the community new businesses, hip, modern, contemporary. Look what has happened to the farmers market, for example. It certainly now caters to a particular kind of clientele, and perhaps other people who were at home at the farmers market some 5-7 years ago are not very much frequenting it to the degree as they used to. Look at what happens to the businesses on 20th Street. The new modern restaurants are coming in and taking over the Chinese establishments and so on and so forth. This rapid change, this rapid transformation is going to affect dramatically the composition of community, the feel of it, the memories of it, the very culture of it.
It's becoming more of a hands-on, everybody owning houses. We only have about maybe 5 rentals left on this house. I know it's good in a way, but the more that it comes in, the more the rents are going to go up, and the more people aren't going to have. We're already short of homes for people. They took out all our, Bulwers, the Red Apple, all these lower price stores. We can't afford those other ones that are coming in. And I don't want the trendies coming in at all, because then we're going to get buried alive.
There's a lot of change happening very quickly in this neighborhood, but it's happening within the context of our city, also changing very quickly as a whole. And I think that there are definitely some people that aren't benefiting as much from those changes, and it's a difficult problem to deal with, because it's primarily people that are in home rental situations where the availability of affordable housing stock seems to be migrating and moving to other areas of the city, just through the natural, growth and decay and rebirth that neighborhoods go through. And that's the reality. Every time something changes, there's the good side and there's the bad side.
Every time we come to the studio, we feel we're doing something, but then as soon as we step outside the door, there is no more productiveness going on. We're back to the same negativity that we were born in. I can stop being a gangbanger, but they won't, just because I'm gonna be good to them doesn't mean they'll be good to me, it's very, you gotta be very, very realistic about this stuff, you know what I mean?
Still same people walking up and down the street,
Still same thing. The only change I see is the little change that I got in my pocket, you know what I mean? There is no change, man. It's all an illusion.
On top of that diversity of perspectives, what it means and what 20th Street means to people, comes yet another one, what it means to the student researchers. All coming from different backgrounds, being different individuals, having different personalities, having, again, different exposure to the 20th Street, and all in the end becoming very excited about the prospect of producing something bigger than just, a course paper which will be just recycled in 2 months.
It's really good for the soul to tell your stories and release that information, and I definitely have gotten that response that he does feel that way.
I can only wish that this cultural plurality, that cultural diversity which had defined what the 20th Street has been for Saskatoon for the longest period of time, will continue on to be present in it in whatever way. It would be great to see that this memory will continue to stay alive rather than archived. So it will be great to see the vibrancy be still there, rather than again being shoveled away in some sort of research papers or maybe exhibits here and there. So I can only wish. We'll see what changes, what kind of changes we'll face in the next while.